A U.S. military KC-135 refueling plane crashed in western Iraq on Thursday during an operation against Iran. Rescue efforts are underway, but the fate of 5 crew members aboard the plane remains uncertain. The Pentagon stated that the crash was not caused by hostile or friendly fire. The incident marks the 4th publicly acknowledged aircraft to crash in operations against Iran. This highlights the risks involved in aerial refueling missions and the challenges of military operations in the region. S-135, typically crewed by 3 personnel, had 5 crew members on board at the time of the crash. The U.S. military is investigating the cause and will provide more details as the situation develops. Officials have asked for continued patience as they gather additional information to ensure clarity for the families of service members involved. 2 deadly incidents in separate states have heightened security concerns and prompted swift action from authorities. Early morning on March 12, 2026, a vehicle was driven into a synagogue and school in Michigan, while in Virginia, gunfire broke out at Old Dominion University later that afternoon. In Michigan, the attack targeted Temple Israel, a prominent Reform synagogue and the site of an on-site preschool. Security guards inside the building quickly engaged the attacker, who reportedly had explosives in the vehicle. Law enforcement officials confirmed that the suspect died in the incident, though the cause of death remains unclear. No casualties were reported among the 140 children and teachers at the school, due largely to the rapid response of the security personnel on site. In Virginia, the shooter, identified as Mohammed Jallo, a former Army National Guardsman with a prior conviction for attempting to aid ISIS, opened fire on the Old Dominion University campus. ROTC students subdued and killed the gunman, preventing further casualties. Officials are investigating the incident as a possible act of terrorism, but the exact motive remains speculative. Both incidents highlight the ongoing need for heightened security measures at religious and educational institutions in the United States, particularly amid an elevated threat environment. Security personnel's quick actions in both cases played a crucial role in minimizing potential harm. The situation is still developing, with investigations underway to determine the full extent of these security threats and to take necessary steps to prevent future incidents. Israeli forces have issued evacuation orders for parts of Beirut and southern Lebanon, impacting nearly 10% of the country's territory and displacing over 800,000 people, many of whom are Lebanese Christians. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hezbollah has drawn in Christian-majority villages like al-Shaab. That's despite their lack of involvement with the militant group. In al-Shaab, a Christian village close to Lebanon's border with Israel, residents were caught in crossfire during Israeli strikes. Mayor Chadi Seye asserts there were no Hezbollah fighters in the village. Sami Ghaffri, a 70-year-old resident, was killed while tending to his plants. This prompts the mayor to evacuate the remaining 83 residents under the protection of UN peacekeepers. Rights groups argue that such evacuation orders amount to forced displacement and violate international law. The conflict has deepened sectarian tensions between Christians and Shia Muslims, raising concerns about internal strife similar to the Lebanese civil war. Christian villages, wary of potential Hezbollah infiltration, have been reluctant to accept displaced Shia Muslims. Ghassan Hezbani, a parliament member of the Lebanese Forces, a Christian party, blames Hezbollah for endangering Christian villages by re-entering the war. As the situation continues to escalate, the displaced Lebanese Christians and others displaced by the conflict seek refuge in areas controlled by state institutions like the Lebanese Army and Civil Defense, illustrating the far-reaching impact of the ongoing conflict on Lebanon's diverse communities. Pro-Iranian hackers have launched a series of cyber attacks on U.S. companies and critical infrastructure in the Middle East, according to recent reports. Since February 28, 2026, these hackers have targeted medical device companies and industrial facilities in several countries. This includes a notable attack on Stryker, a medical technology firm, on March 9, 2026. The attacks are part of a broader cyber strategy by Iran and its allies to disrupt military communications and supply chains, aiming to exacerbate the ongoing conflict. Groups such as Hezbollah and Zipentis have been identified as perpetrators, with the latter claiming responsibility for infiltrating U.S. networks and disrupting security systems in various locations. These hacking groups are known for their ability to cause significant damage to critical infrastructure and have previously targeted water plants and defense contractors in the U.S. Experts warn that the cyber threat landscape is escalating, with increased risks for defense contractors, power stations, and other critical services. As the conflict intensifies, Iran and its allies are expected to continue their efforts to exploit vulnerabilities in digital systems, potentially leading to further disruptions and attacks on critical infrastructure. The situation remains fluid, and officials advise businesses and government agencies to enhance their cybersecurity measures to mitigate potential risks. President Donald Trump has advised against the Iranian national soccer team's participation in the upcoming World Cup, citing unspecified safety concerns. This statement comes amid ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Iran, following recent military strikes by the U.S. and Israel on Iranian soil. Iran's sports minister has confirmed that the country cannot send its team to the tournament, scheduled to be co-hosted by the U.S., Canada, Mexico from June 11 to July 19, 2026. Iran's soccer team was originally set to compete in matches in Inglewood, California, and Seattle, Washington. However, the recent escalation in diplomatic and military tensions has cast doubt on their ability to travel and compete safely. That's despite earlier assurances from the White House to FIFA President Gianni Infantino that Iran's team would be welcome. Trump's latest comments highlight the evolving nature of the situation. The decision raises questions about the broader geopolitical implications of sporting events and the potential for such high-profile competitions to become entangled in international conflicts. FIFA, the international governing body for soccer, has yet to issue a formal statement regarding the status of Iran's participation in the World Cup. The situation remains under close scrutiny as officials from both countries continue to navigate the complex diplomatic landscape surrounding the World Cup. Representative Jim Clyburn, South Carolina's longest-serving Democrat, announced on Thursday that he will run for an 18th term in the U.S. House of Representatives. The decision comes despite ongoing calls for generational change within the Democratic Party. Clyburn, who first took office in 1992, made the announcement at the state party headquarters in Columbia. Clyburn's continued presence in Congress is seen as significant if Democrats regain the majority in November. The 85-year-old representative is one of the oldest Democrats serving in Washington, and the only remaining member of the last Democratic leadership team planning to continue. Other veteran Democrats, such as former Speaker Nancy Pelosi and former Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, have announced their retirements. Clyburn's announcement was influenced by consultations with his daughters and feedback from constituents who urged him to remain in office. If elected, Clyburn could play a pivotal role in shaping the Democratic Party's direction and leadership, especially as representative. Hakeem Jeffries of New York is set to become the next Speaker of the House should Democrats secure the majority. Clyburn's candidacy underscores the ongoing debate within the party about maintaining the influence of long-serving members or embracing a new generation of leaders. The primary elections in South Carolina will be held on June 9th, with a filing period for candidates opening on March 13th and closing on March 30th. President Donald Trump has reversed his position on oil prices, now viewing them as a positive development despite previously highlighting low gas costs as a political advantage. This pivot reflects a strategic adjustment in the context of the ongoing conflict with Iran and the administration's struggle to secure the Strait of Hormuz for oil tanker traffic. Trump's messaging on oil prices has been inconsistent. Last month, he boasted about gas prices at $2.30 a gallon in his State of the Union address. However, those prices have since soared more than 50%, reaching a national average of $3.60 a gallon. According to the president now emphasizes the economic benefits of higher oil prices for the United States, which is the world's largest oil producer. On Thursday, the global crude oil benchmark price jumped to $100 per barrel. The White House is coordinating with other countries to release strategic oil reserves to stabilize prices. Analysts predict that this move will not significantly reduce oil prices. The strategic shift in rhetoric comes amid concerns over its impact on the midterm elections, with potential economic ramifications due to higher oil prices and inflation. Energy Secretary Chris Wright acknowledged that the conflict is causing short-term gas price disruptions, but emphasized the long-term benefits of the secure and stable Middle East. The situation is still developing. Officials continue to assess the broader economic and political implications of the changing stance on oil prices. The Senate has passed a bipartisan housing bill aimed at making housing more accessible and affordable across the United States. With an 89-10 vote, the bill, which received overwhelming bipartisan support, is now headed back to the House for further consideration. Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts and Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina led the effort to pass this legislation. This aims to address the national housing shortage and rising home prices. The bill includes provisions to reduce regulatory barriers and empower local governments to address housing needs. It also allows banks to invest more in affordable housing projects and limits large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. This measure is part of a broader legislative push to address economic issues ahead of the upcoming midterm elections. While the Senate's passage of the bill is a significant step, it faces challenges ahead. House leaders have indicated they are unlikely to accept the Senate version without further negotiations. Additionally, President Trump's stance on voter ID legislation may further complicate the bill's passage through Congress. The situation remains in flux as both chambers and the White House work towards a final agreement on the housing bill. A man drove a truck into Temple, Israel in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, just outside Detroit, on Thursday afternoon. Security officers at the synagogue fatally shot the suspect, preventing further casualties. No staff or children at the early childhood center were injured. The incident took place at approximately p.m. local time. The attacker, armed with a rifle, crashed his vehicle into the synagogue and was engaged by security personnel with gunfire. The vehicle caught fire after the collision, and law enforcement found the suspect dead inside. According to Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard, the security officers quickly acted to protect the building's occupants, ensuring that no staff or children were harmed. Temple, Israel, one of the largest Reform synagogues in the nation, has been operating with heightened security measures amid recent tensions and threats against Jewish communities globally. This attack follows a series of similar incidents in Virginia, California, and England, raising concerns about potential coordinated threats. The FBI has warned of potential drone attacks from Iranian operatives, and anti-Semitic incidents have increased in recent weeks. Authorities are still investigating the motive behind the attack and are working to identify the suspect. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer issued a statement expressing her concern and offering support to the local Jewish community. The situation is under investigation, and officials are urging vigilance and cooperation from the community as they work to provide more information. California Governor Gavin Newsom dismissed any imminent threat to the state following an FBI alert about possible Iranian drone attacks. The alert suggested Iran might use drones from an unidentified vessel off the U.S. coast, targeting unspecified targets in California. However, the information was unverified. Newsom emphasized that while the state remains vigilant, there is currently no confirmed threat. The FBI alert was based on unverified intelligence. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt had reiterated that there is no confirmed threat from Iran to the U.S. homeland. Local law enforcement in major cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco are monitoring global events for any potential risks. However, they are stressing that the immediate threat level remains low. This comes amid ongoing geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and Iran, particularly following recent incidents in the Strait of Hormuz. The governor's statement aims to reassure residents while maintaining a stance of preparedness for worst-case scenarios. The situation is still under review, but for now, officials advise Californians to remain vigilant without panic.